Bye! My name is Josh Miller. I own Riverstone Kennels, and I've been training gun dogs for more than 16 years. I have field trialed, I've hunt tested, but at the end of the day, I'm a duck hunter. You might find that the duck in our DUK Dogs podcast is spelled uniquely. The UK stands for my British Labs. I love my British Labs. I love what they offer me, both as a part of my family and the high motor in the field. As you're going to find, I have some pretty special dogs. Follow along in our podcast series here as we talk about both in the field hunting and in the field training situations that will hopefully help you progress with your dog at home. Welcome back to another episode of DUK Dogs, everybody. I'm your host, Josh Miller, and let us be sure to recognize our fantastic partners that make this show possible before we get into the show today. So thank you to DUK Dogs Premium Performance Sport 3020 is the blended food that we feed our dogs, and the Premium Performance Puppy Pro would be what we feed our puppies. So if you're looking for a high quality food to put your four-legged hunting partner on, especially as you head into the season, what you feed your dog does matter, and you will see the results of it. www.yukanuba.com. Also, thank you to Kent Cartridge. Kent is the shotgun shell of choice for us. We've been talking about the blanks all training season long, but we're finally getting to the point where we can talk about the shells. So I'd highly recommend stocking up on that stuff here early in the season and making sure that you have a whole case or two of Kent Cartridge in your trailer, truck, garage, whatever you need. www.kentcartridge.com. Thank you to Gun Dog Supply. Gun Dog Supply is your one-stop shop for all of your hunting and training needs for your four-legged hunting partner. Whether it's place boards, blinds, bumpers, you name it, Gun Dog Supply is one of the few places that caters to everything that you and I are looking for as it pertains to training and hunting. www.gundogsupply.com. Also, thank you to Lucky Duck. Lucky Duck is your 5-star crash test rated kennel, both in the intermediate and in the large size. They also have the fans. They also have the kennel covers, the cots, the pads, whatever you need to keep your dog healthy, safe. It's a no-brainer. www.luckyduck.com. Thank you to Sitka Gear. Sitka Gear is your premium option for outdoor clothing, both in the everyday wear, which you've been wearing all season, but then also as you head into season, be sure to get what you need from www.sitkagear.com. Also, thank you to Retriever Roadmap. Retriever Roadmap is your premium option for training your dog at home, step-by-step libraries to walk you through the process. Fantastic community. www.retrieverroadmap.com. And for being a listener of the show, type in DD for DUK Dogs, DD100, and that will get you $100 off your membership. Well, I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Today is Friday for us. I've had a busy week here as we've had 2 clients in from Texas this week. We have a client in from Kentucky next week. And then I get right into travel season. So this is always kind of a bittersweet time of year for me because as much as I love the dogs going home, the dogs that I've been working with all summer, they do become a big, I know it's sappy, right? But they become a big part of my everyday life. And so they're my own dogs, or at least it feels that way. So when they leave, it's always a great thing because you love to see them go. The owner's happy, you know they're going to have a great life. But yeah, I mean, selfishly, it's hard. Like today, I'm walking in and a boy named Rip, and I've loved Rip. He's got a little quirk. I'm still kind of ironing out all the way, but I love this dog. I mean, great personality, great motor, great composure, big team player, like everything that I'd want. Man, I'm gonna miss him. That was the last training session I had with him this morning, and then he'll go home to Kentucky here next week after his owner comes up and works with us for a couple of days. So it's a bittersweet time, but the sweet part is it is getting to season. So next week we leave for Kansas, and then it'll be dove season. So we go from Kansas to Texas, and then it's kind of boom, 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 from there. So all really good stuff. So today is probably going to be a little bit of a quicker episode because I need to leave. I'm going to go speak at the Wisconsin Waterfowl Expo in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Yes, it is weekend 5 in a row for me speaking. And I want to talk about this because a lot of people, you guys are so great. You get it, and hopefully I don't, speak too negatively about this, but, a lot of people are like, hey, you ready for shows to be done? You ready for that time? And I for sure am. But they're great too. We meet so many great people, so many great connections here, so many great stories. It is fantastic. But when you're burning 7 days a week, through the weekend, you have to be on the whole time, right? These shows are all outside, so the elements are getting to you too. Like there's just a lot there that after this weekend, I'll probably want to crawl in a hole for like a week and not talk to anybody. But it is so positive too. If it wasn't positive, we wouldn't do it, right? So there's a lot of really great stuff. We love seeing everybody and the connections and the people and the friendships and relationships, and there's so many positive things. So, but this is my last one. After this one, we get into season and no more shows, which I'll be happy about. So, Wisconsin Waterfowl Expo here this weekend, and I'm supposed to leave I'm supposed to be leaving in 53 minutes. We will see if that actually happens or not. But I needed to get an episode in here because with August being August, I have just been lacking for you guys on getting these episodes in. So I need to get this done before we leave. But here's what I want to talk about today. It seems like when people are looking for the guidance, and this really comes from shows, right? So much of feedback, so many questions, so many things people are looking for at these shows, and you start hearing very repetitive comments, very repetitive questions. At the end of the day, I think all of us that are working with our own dogs, we're all looking for coaching. We're all looking for guidance. And when you hear somebody say, I'll self-train. Yeah, I read a couple books and self-train them. That dog, when you end up seeing that dog, the person that made the comment, right, brings the dogs to a training day, something like that, the dog is never where it really should be, right? There's always something, naturally, right? Because when you read a book, those words are taken as how you interpret it, right? So if you read it differently than the author meant it, maybe the author didn't articulate it well enough. I mean, there's so many things that are up for interpretation that you could very easily take what you want to be learning, read it maybe an incorrect way, but then you're going to go apply it. And of course, the dog is looking at you as the coach going like, all right, this is how you want me to do it. I'll do it this way. And so where I've really seen this come is, again, through these shows, but I've really been more and more vocal about people finding groups to train with, right? So this could be a retriever club. This could be a group of 4 or 5 people. Maybe one of those people has a background. I think this is another advocate, for hunt tests. Go out there and see what it is you should be doing. That's the best part to me about hunt tests is that you're at one level, but then you get to go watch the next level and say, okay, this is what I need to do in order to pass this level. Okay, so talk to people. How do you do this? How do you get to this point? What do I need to go back home and do? It is a great resource, but I think everybody that is looking to achieve any sort of high level with their dog, more times than not, they're starving for coaching. It makes total sense, right? You look at anything that you've done with any significance in your life, anything that you've done that you're like, hey, I'm really proud of that, right? So I'll just name a couple off the top of my head for me. Okay, so my athletic background. Yeah, well, I had a lot of great coaches that led me, to where I ended up, right? Business, a lot of great business mentors that I got to look for. I had to I leaned on for help, for advice, for guidance, right? For my roping, right? I actually have 3 different people that I go to with whether videos, calls, practices, whatever it is. And I always get more out of the one-on-one time practicing. That's an interesting deal here. So this is something that I would highly encourage anyone to go do. The reality is that videos are great. I think that's part of the evolution of technology. Now, instead of books, there's video. So now, instead of reading a book, misinterpreting what it is the author is trying to say and applying it incorrectly, now at least you get to watch it. Now you get to see it. Now you get to go, okay, so this is what it's supposed to look like. This is what I'm striving for. Okay, I can see maybe the verbiage that's being used is not normal verbiage for me, so I don't understand. But if I see it happen, okay, I get that because I watch it. And so I think that helps, but it's not. I don't believe it's a cure-all. I don't think it makes everything done. It's not perfect. And so the training groups. So we have actually applied this in Retriever Roadmap for this exact reason. So the strike teams are put in place just for people to be able to get together and train together. And that is the number one piece of feedback, is that they learn so much from watching each other, from training with each other. And we're trying to continue to evolve that. So let me tell you about something new we have going on in the program, which I think is really neat. So in the program, we have a private Facebook group, Retriever Roadmap members, I think is what it's called. And in that private group, of course, you have to be a member to be in the group, but there's a lot of people that'll post questions and post photos and post videos, and it's really cool. This community has been fantastic. But I am always looking to how do we improve? How do we evolve? How do we get better? Right? Like, I love that. You guys know this. I love that from a personal side, but also from a business, or in this case, a community side. How do we evolve and get better? So I actually joined a group just for this, right? So the people that I'm learning from, my roping stuff, it's great, but I had an opportunity to get in a group with an actual world champion tie-down roper, and it was like, okay, I'm going to do that. So same kind of thing, great community, people post videos, post questions, everybody jumps in with their thoughts. It's really cool. But he started doing something that I'm actually going to steal, and I've told him I'm going to steal this, but I'm going to steal it and put it into our community. And what it is he calls them run reviews. And so what you do is every member, so he'll say, hey, run reviews on the 18th. So everybody on the 18th will post a video of a recent run, and then he critiques it. And this has been my absolute favorite part of this group, because he digs in, and like, I've had runs where I'm like, gosh, this is terrible, right? Like, can't wait to hear what he says here. And he breaks down what it was, the one thing maybe that made it go so terrible. Like, this is why. You fix this, everything else flows. I've had runs that I thought was pretty dang good, and he's critiqued and broke it down into, look, like, this part was good, but this part, you could be so much better than this. And this is why, this is what you need to do. And I love this. Now, you do have to have the right people listening. Like, for you, if you are here accepting this criticism, you have to be open to that. So for me, right, I know when I hear the criticism, there are a few things. One, he's not going to have all the information. He hasn't been to my practices. He hasn't seen what I've been working on, what I've been struggling on, what I've been progressing on, what I've been doing good on, the elements that went into this exact run. He doesn't know all that. He's watching the 15 seconds and going, okay, in this 15 seconds, this is what I would do better. So you have to have the right people, but you also have people that have to be open to criticism, which seems to be less and less people all the time. Guys, guess what? This is not going to be sunshine and roses. You developing your dog, there are going to be hurdles, there's going to be frustrations, there's going to be roadblocks, there's going to be moments you want to pull your absolute hair out. It's not going to be sunshine and roses. So for me, I'm looking at this going, gosh, I love this so much. I wonder if I can integrate this into our group. So I just posted this idea I think it was maybe a day or two ago even, and everybody seems to love it. So we're going to try this. So everybody gets to do one run. So this could be one blind. This could be one setup. This could be, and I'm just going to literally sit there on a live video and be like, okay, Brett Ayers, let's look at this. Okay, here's what I would do. I would have stopped him here instead of here. So you stopped him here. If you would have stopped him here, this is why this is so important. And critique the handler, not the dog. Some of this naturally will be the dog, not the dog. Critique the handler. This to me is like the coach coaching the coach. And I think this could be tremendously important. I'm really excited about this because I think this, again, just kind of furthers the whole point of that you're the coach of the team. There's always more work for you to be doing. There's always improvements to make. There's always, it's you, right? You as a person. And the strike teams have been great, but that's the number one feedback that I get, is that people love when I can be there and I can critique what it is that they're doing. And I think that's fantastic. And I think it's so great that everyone's so open and willing to learn and wanting to get better themselves, because they know that their dog is only ever going to be as good as they are. So where I'm going with this is what I think, if you all find yourself in a situation where, how can I elevate? How can I get better? How can I go to the next level? How can I progress? That's really important, right? But find a group that is near you. Find a group that you can connect with, and find a group that fits you, because you are going to learn so much from those other people, from those other dogs, from those other situations, and it will help you. So I would highly suggest that. All right, so that was number one. Here's number two. I am getting a little frustrated with hearing how many people are going, well, it's hunting season, training season's done. Guys, training in the season may be the most important time to be training, right? There's a reason that we're heading into NFL season. There's a reason that the team practices throughout the week to play on Sunday, right? They take what happened during week one, they go apply it they practice it, they critique it, they break it down, they improve, they get better, they go into the next game, maybe a little different game plan, but they are going to be better, or the plan is anyway, they're going to be better than week one. And after week two is done, they'll do the same thing. What went wrong? What didn't we prepare for? Because it's the same thing, you guys. When they go into a game, they can plan, they can feel prepared, they can feel good, but once they get in between those lines, there's another team coming, making this an uncontrolled situation, and there's a lot of things, there's a lot of learning, there's a lot of things that team could have and should have done better. So then they go practice it. I think the more I hear about this, the more eye-opening it is to me of how few people actually do train during the season. You have heard me say this over and over and over again, and I'm going to say it again. Hunting season unravels training season. Every single time. You go from controlled setups, controlled situations, to uncontrolled everything. Now, you're hoping that your training comes through, right? You're still steady, you're still marking, but the reality is you're going to have situations that come up that make it to where now you have a chink in the armor. Now you have to go fix this. You need to go work on it. Yeah, I've told you guys the story about Bud. Bud's first season that he had, I think it was like the first 7 hunts. I don't have my notes in front of me right now because this is literally just popping in my head as I'm talking. But Bud's first season, I think it was the first 7 hunts in a row, he had nothing but birds in the decoys every single time. So on that 8th hunt, when we finally had a sailor, he didn't want to leave the decoys because he had been successful there so much. During training, we run through the decoys all the time. We push past the decoys. The decoys are at 30. The mark's actually at 80, at 100, at 200. Pushing through the decoys is something he does all the time. But now, because of the situation in the hunting, we need to identify that. We need to go work on it. The training doesn't stop. I argue the training is more important during the season than it is during the summer. Now, of course, if you're developing a dog, I'll totally get it. Right, that summer training is extremely valuable. I'm talking about, one, the young dog that the wheels are starting to come off or has these first hunts. How do you keep that tight? You train. You train during the season. You train in between hunts, right? That's how you keep it tight. But for the older dog, maybe this is just natural, right? More people than not, when they get the dog to the level that is satisfactory to them for training, they hit cruise control. They don't train all summer. Yeah, they go fishing. They do other things, right? And then a couple weeks before season, they throw some marks, run a couple blinds with the dog, go, yep, we're good. Okay? I'm telling you, hunting season is going to cause hurdles, is going to cause frustrations. Training during the season is extremely important. Do not let that slide. You will be much, much happier for it. That is something that I at these shows, especially, like we're in August, right? Right? Yeah, well, your training season's almost over. Like, says who? Train during the season. I think it's even more important. Keep that in mind. I'll probably talk about that again because it's mind-boggling, you guys, how often that came up here, especially at Game Fair. So, all right, you guys, well, I should probably run because I need to get hooked up to the trailer. I need to get over to Oshkosh, which is about 4 hours from here, and get set up tonight for this weekend's show. So I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. I hope you have a fantastic, I think it's the last weekend in August, which means for so many of us, seasons are starting, dove season, early honker season. Be intentional about your training and prepare for what your dog is going to see first. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Leave us a review on iTunes, and a special thank you to DUK, because without them, we couldn't do what we do here, bringing this information to you.